Local, live, late-breaking. WESH 2 News on CW18 starts now.
We're following some breaking news happening right now. A firefighter is in the hospital after a fire broke out inside of a church tonight. This happened at the Center Arena Church on North Hiawassee Road near Orlo Vista. That firefighter suffered some minor burns and is expected to be okay. Crews were able to put that fire out and are now checking for any further hot spots. WESH 2 is at that scene right now. We are interviewing firefighter officials and members of the church. We're going to stay on top of this breaking story. Members of the church also tell us they were in Bible study when the smoke alarms went off.
We were in there doing our Bible study. The next thing that happens, the fire alarm goes off. Once the fire alarm went off, we were just, it happens once in a while that the fire alarms go on, so we thought it was a false alarm. And then one of the guys came in and said, no, there's smoke, we need to get out.
We have a reporter at that scene again doing interviews right now with fire officials. As we get more details, I'll bring them to you right here on WESH 2 and on WESH.com. Tonight, 2 storms are making landfall. Here's video out of Corpus Christi, Texas, where you can see the waves, wind, and rain brought on by Harold, which has now been downgraded to a tropical depression.
Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Franklin is battering the Dominican Republic, and this storm could bring catastrophic rain to that area. While none of these systems in the tropics are headed our way, it is a reminder, though, that we are nearing the peak of hurricane season, so we're bringing in Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi, who's been tracking everything for us. Tony, it's been very active recently.
It has, but the point you made is perfect. None of them is pointed in our direction. We'll spend a little time on these far eastern pieces a little bit later on, but let's get in closer to home right there. As you can see, we have Harold, which is kind of falling apart there. We may not even have a TD. This could be the last advisory at 11 o'clock, and then, of course, Franklin's still hanging on. That's going to bring some catastrophic flooding, we believe, to Haiti and the Dominican Republic. So let's get this started there. You can see earlier tonight it came ashore about 10 a.m., but continued to bring the rain onshore through Corpus Christi back up towards Del Rio, Texas. Had a lot of tornado warnings there earlier, and a lot of significant rain is building off towards West Texas on into New Mexico, and then potentially even on in Arizona. You take a look at these model tracks that on top of the rain we had with Hillary. That's something we're going to be watching and monitoring there very, very closely. Franklin, on the other hand, looks pretty disorganized tonight. Little burst of convection and thunderstorms there tonight, but all the rain is coming on up now towards the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and now the western side there of Puerto Rico, moving slowly, and that's why we're concerned now. We're at the risk for 10 to 15 inches of rain on those south-facing slopes there, some of the higher terrain. We even have, again, tropical storm watches for far southern portions there of the Bahamas. So this is going to track north, and then north-northwest, and then hook back to the east over the course now of the next couple of days. As a series of fronts will work through the mid-Atlantic and then lift this one up to the north and the east. Now, this is the remnants of Emily trying to make a comeback tonight. We'll talk more about why it could regenerate and that storm that came off the west coast of Africa when I see it coming up here at 10:18.
Tony, thank you. And to get the latest track on the tropics, download the free WESH 2 News app. Inside, you can get an updated forecast from our team of first warning meteorologists. Turn on those alerts for breaking updates on any storms headed our way. Orange County Sheriff's deputies arrested a mother just 1 year after her son's death. 26-year-old Glendalis Godrio Torres is charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child. The sheriff's office says 5-year-old Hector was found unresponsive, and a toxicology report found cocaine and fentanyl in his system. Detectives say she had been dealing drugs. Charges have been upgraded against another local mother who deputies say strangled her 13-year-old son to death at a home in St. Cloud. 37-year-old Jasmine Kennedy faced a judge this afternoon and was ordered to be held without bond. Kennedy was initially charged with domestic battery by strangulation, aggravated child abuse, and child neglect. Grief counselors were at Canoe Creek K-8 school today.
It has been 6 months since 9-year-old Tiana Major, 38-year-old Natasha Augustin, and Spectrum News 13 reporter Dylan Lyons were shot and killed in the Pine Hills neighborhood. The questions of why and how this all happened remain unanswered. The county plans to measure if the programs are working by looking into education, crime, and juvenile justice statistics. A group of state lawmakers are objecting to a resolution passed in Mount Dora implementing the Safe Place initiative in the city.
This is a program that allows businesses to request to be designated a safe place for members of the LGBTQ+ community and people who are victims of hate crimes. WESH 2's Haley Crumblehome found out a group of state senators and representatives sent the city a letter accusing it of enacting a dangerous policy that could cost businesses money.
Just days after Orlando unveiled its new Swan shuttle, one of them was involved in a crash. Orlando police say that crash happened around 1 p.m. on Terry Avenue near Livingston Street between a limo bus and the Swan shuttle. Beep. Officers say it only caused minor damage to both vehicles and no one was hurt. New at 10, tonight leaders came together to discuss how to make Sanford safer. The City of Sanford and Sanford Police Department held that meeting in partnership with the Peace and Justice Institute. They wanted to build up upon national conversations on how to create more equitable communities.
As police chief, you know, one of the initiatives that we try to do is always partner with our community. And this is a good opportunity for us to meet other folks in our community and have a conversation about where we were, where we are, and where we're going in the future.
The goals are to strengthen relationships, improve communication, and learn how to recognize unconscious bias.
Earlier tonight, WESH 2 Investigates reported the One Pulse Foundation sent a letter to families and survivors explaining where things stand with the memorial. Well, tonight, the families of the victims and Pulse survivors are responding. That letter from the foundation laid out the major developments that had been unfolding over the last few months, which WESH 2 has reported on extensively. The two major points: that the memorial will have to be built on a site other than the nightclub property after they failed to reach an agreement with the nightclub owners to donate that property, and that the permit for the interim memorial site expired. And because of this, the foundation has now handed over all responsibility and maintenance to Barbara and Rosario Poma, who own the site. Well, the families and survivors responded with their own letter, saying in part, "We are saddened, distressed, and devastated by the decisions made by both the One Pulse Foundation and Pulse nightclub owners. They continue their calls for the nightclub property to be donated for the memorial and for the dissolution of the foundation." You can read this letter in full and watch all of our reporting on the One Pulse Foundation right now on WESH.com. We will keep you updated on any major developments with the memorial and museum going forward. Glenn Gilzine has resigned as the head of the Florida Commission on Ethics. He was hired in May by the new Central Florida Tourism Oversight District, which maintains Walt Disney World property. But a commission attorney determined his job at Disney was in conflict with his ethics job. And today, he stepped down from his role in that position.
The stage truly is set for Wednesday's Republican presidential primary debate. The Republican National Committee announcing who has met its donor and polling thresholds.
WESH 2's Jim Payne has more on what we're likely to see and hear and what we want. Jim.
The candidates include Governor Ron DeSantis, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, who has both supported and criticized DeSantis, and former Vice President Mike Pence. The biggest problem for all of the candidates will be the man who won't be there and whether they need to be aggressive in attacking the current frontrunner or avoid mentioning Donald Trump at all. To qualify for the debate, candidates needed to satisfy polling and donor requirements set by the Republican National Committee and sign a pledge promising support of the party's eventual nominee. At least 3 candidates who thought they had qualified were excluded. Former President Trump plans to skip the debate and instead have an online interview while the others debate. Back to you, Michelle and Stuart.
Jim, thank you. Next at 10, a stunning sight on a Jacksonville beach.
A man caught on camera carrying a dolphin. Why experts say doing this is dangerous.
And if rockets aren't your speed, there's a new option for space tourists. The slower approach one company is working on.
Plus, Orange County leaders are pumping the brakes on distributing tourism tax dollars. The latest on the debate over how to spend the money.
We all know what tourism means to the Sunshine State and Central Florida specifically. Despite strong tourist tax collections this year, Orange County leaders are pumping the brakes.
They are taking a more conservative approach to distributing that money. WESH 2's Dave McDaniel has the latest on the tourism tax debate that's happening right now. Okay, we have some exciting news for Harry Potter fans. For the first time ever, Death Eaters will leave their mark on the wizarding world of Harry Potter at Universal. The sinister followers of Voldemort will be lurking, putting you face to face with the dark arts. There will also be new Death Eater-themed merchandise. The Death Eaters will start roaming September 1st through November 4th.
As scorching heat hits Central Florida, one theme park wants to make sure you do not lose any money if you had to miss out on your trip. SeaWorld Orlando has launched a new program called Weather or Not Assurance. If extreme heat, rain, lightning, or snow, which is not going to happen, but that would shut down everything. But if snow does impact your park experience or upcoming flight plans, guests can swap out their days and come back within a year for free. You can do this in the park, at guest services, or online. By the way, feels like temperatures have to be 110 degrees at SeaWorld to use that wild weather policy.
I feel like instead of snow, we should have said hail.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe if it snows somewhere else, but it ain't happening.
Oh,
here.
okay, I can see that.
If it happens here.
I hope the rest of the parks follow suit. That's a wonderful idea.
It is.
Because it's dangerous heat.
Yeah.
It is, yeah. Let me take you guys back outside right now, show you the heat from today. It was 94 in Orlando. It was 95 in Leesburg and Winter Haven. A little bit better along the coast there. Temperatures in the upper 80s to right around the 90-degree mark. And by the way, today's 90-degree reading at Orlando's International Airport marked the 103rd time this year that we've hit 90 or better. We average about 106. We're going to obliterate that, folks. It's, again, only the 22nd day of the month of August, and our normal daily high temperature doesn't drop into the upper 80s until the middle of September. So we're gonna blow that one out of the water. There you can see live shot outside, looking pretty good underneath this big dome of high pressure, which is steering. Again, TD, Harold, off into West Texas. For us, northeasterly winds, a couple sprinkles from time to time have meandered onshore, but nothing big, nothing major there. Notice the temperature up towards Palm Coast 78. Titusville as well, coming in at 78 back through the interior. Here we go, 81 to about 83 degrees. Nice little breeze out there. Earlier has died on off, so looking pretty good there. Temps out the door. Tomorrow morning, a little cooler north and west, a little warmer back towards coastal Brevard County. We'll be in the upper 70s to near the 80-degree mark. 12-hour forecast for Orlando, jumping up to 94, just a 20 to 30% chance for a few cooling late-day showers, maybe an isolated thunder showers at front. Backs on in late in the day. When you take a look at the rain chances hour by hour, you can see they're not very high and they're not very expansive. So again, just a few of us getting a few cooling showers. The majority of us are going to stay hot, especially through the interior with an onshore flow. Temperatures at the beaches right around the 90-degree mark. You go inland by just a couple miles and then westward by several miles. We're going to be about 93 to about 96 degrees. So the feels like temperatures tomorrow 102. But notice that back into the weekend, things really begin to heat on up, approaching 105 Sunday afternoon. So the boat and beach forecast here, northeast winds 10 to 15, moderate rip current risk there. Low tide is at 8:02. That's when those rip currents would be at their most dangerous. As we take a look at that pool forecast here, looking good. A couple passing showers in the afternoon. Just keep an eye to the sky for those. As we get into late Thursday and Friday, a few showers around, but turning drier. Once that front works south and just kind of washes on out. No big temperature change for us, unfortunately. We do have a launch here on a Friday morning, right after midnight, 3:49 in the morning, and the Crew 7 going on up. 85% likelihood that this one will go off without a hitch from a weather standpoint. Saturday on into Sunday, you can see that northeasterly wind flow. Breeze works on in. Best chances for rain on Sunday will be along the western side of the peninsula. Boy, it's going to be a hot-looking weekend as well. We're talking about 96 on Saturday and then 97 on Sunday. Rain chances are going to be meager at best. Let's take a look down at that updated 7-day forecast. Wednesday 94, Thursday a little bit cooler behind the front, jumping right back up as we head into the weekend. 96, 97 coming up here in the next half hour. We'll take a look at the rest of the tropical Atlantic as we get you into the latter half of the month of August.
Contract in history. That is what the Teamsters president is calling the latest labor agreement approved by the union's UPS membership today.
As Laura Geary reports, a possible strike that would have crippled shipping has been averted. Another win for UPS workers. All new vans purchased starting next year will have air conditioning. If the Teamsters had gone on strike, it would have been the largest walkout against a single employer in U.S. history.
Home prices and mortgage rates are rising, with rates topping out at 7%. The National Association of Realtors says July's housing figures reverse a 5-month trend of falling home prices. The median price rose by 1.9% last month compared to a year ago. Analysts say there are not many homes on sale, which is driving up prices. Only 1 million homes are up for sale right now. It's also the lowest number of homes available for sale in the month of July ever.
From horror to happiness, a joyful reunion for a family in Polk County.
I heard a lot of helicopters going around.
How they found their missing toddler after disappearing in the middle of the night. Plus, investigators are searching for a man who went viral for carrying a dolphin. The charges he could be facing.
coming to the CW.
Let's go!
The show the pros watch is now for everyone.
Pass rush is what we want.
Inside the NFL. Season premiere Tuesday, September 5th on the CW.
WESH 2 News starts now with breaking news.
Here's what we're following tonight at 10:30. Tonight, we are following breaking news of a fire that broke out at a church.
Crews were called to the Center Arena church fire on Hiawassee Road right near Orlo Vista. This is a live look at the scene right now. One of the firefighters was taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. We're told no one else was hurt. The fire is out right now, and crews are not checking for any hot spots. We are on the scene, and we will keep you updated.
In Mount Dora, a group of state lawmakers is objecting to a resolution passed which implements the Safe Place initiative in the city. It's a program that allows businesses to request to be designated a safe place for members of the LGBTQ+ community and people who are victims of hate crimes. Lawmakers sent the city a letter yesterday accusing it of enacting a dangerous policy that could cost businesses money. They pointed to recent controversies that have impacted major companies, saying they are considering all legislative, legal, and executive options. City's mayor says the program is for anyone who is a victim of hate crimes and that it's the first step in becoming part of an initiative spanning other cities and counties.
The stage is set for tomorrow's Republican presidential primary debate. The candidates include Governor Ron DeSantis, Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, who has both supported and criticized DeSantis, and former Vice President Mike Pence. Former President Trump plans to skip the debate and instead have an online interview while the others debate.
We need to talk about your forecast because, of course, we are monitoring the tropics.
Yeah, and we've been talking about several areas of interest, but Tony, the good news for us here in Central Florida, it looks like we're in the clear for now.
Yeah, we're in good shape for the time being. We're going to spend a little bit of time now. Post-tropical Gert there is making a little bit of a flare-up tonight, as is the remnants of Emily, so we'll keep an eye on those here going forward. But I wanted to begin here with, again, the remnants of Emily looking pretty impressive here all of a sudden tonight. This is going to move up to the north and could regenerate back into a tropical depression. In fact, the chances now for that happening have gone up to 50% here over the next 7 days. And then south and east of the remnants of Emily, we've got Invest 92. This one as well has a good chance of developing as we head through the next 5 to 7 days. The latest computer model tracks and trends on this particular feature. West now and then west-northwest around the periphery of that big Azores highs. Now, when we take a look at the computer models side by side, very good agreement on Franklin heading north and getting very close to Bermuda. So we've got good consistency there. The European computer model is trying to develop something over towards South Florida, then the Northeast. It's a very weak feature. The GFS model is trying to develop something here in the Northern Gulf. It's not showing up just yet, but we'll continue to monitor the progress of that going forward. So again, front drops in, pulls this system up to the north, another front dropping on in. While that's going on, there's some moisture down here that's going to try to build to the north, and that's what the GFS is trying to develop. Of course, we'll keep tabs on that. Plenty of time to do so, but in the short term, guys, we're in good shape.
A terrifying morning ended with happiness for a family visiting Polk County. Their toddler went missing after he walked out of a house in the middle of the night. Stacy DeSilva spoke to the woman who found the 3-year-old. And she called 911 and held the child until the parents arrived for the happy reunion.
We continue to follow some breaking news. Crews are on the scene of a church fire in Orange County.
WESH 2's Haley Crumbleholm just arrived at that scene and is live for us tonight. So, Haley, what have you learned?
So at this point, we know a firefighter that was injured is expected to be okay. The fire is out at this point. It was here at the Center Arena Church. At one point, there were probably a dozen fire trucks, emergency vehicles here. There are still quite a few just working on the hot spots right now. We do know there were people inside when the fire broke out. They were apparently in Bible study when the smoke alarm started going off.
We weren't even out the door when we look up and we see the roof engulfed in flames, and we got out in time. Everybody ran out of the building.
The crews were returning from a medical call. They came across the church here that was on fire. We immediately was able to get in.
And again, the crews are still here working on some of those hot spots, keeping an eye on the church at this point. And the people with the church say they're still going to continue. They're still going to have their services this weekend, even if it means having to set up a tent in their parking lot. Michelle and Stuart.
Haley, thank you. Parents of black students in 4th and 5th grades at Bunnell Elementary School in Flagler County say their children were singled out in a big way for underperforming on standardized tests. Apparently, only black students in those grades were called into an assembly on Friday. Parents say they only learned of the assembly when their students came home. A parent we spoke to asked not to be identified says that her child consistently gets 4s and 5s on assessments.
It became racial for me when they included and boxed all of the black children together, no matter if they were below average, average, or above average.
The school district released a statement that reads in part, it is clear there was no malice intended and that while the desire to help is to be commended, how this was done does not meet expectations. The district now pledging to engage with parents in any effort to raise achievement. A 15-year-old is accused of bringing a gun to school on the first day of class.
It's raised security concerns across Broward County schools. The school board met today to discuss safety and security. It coincided with the student's court appearance.
Your son was arrested yesterday in Brooklyn at Creek High School in possession of a firearm.
That student caused a code red lockdown situation at the school. The county superintendent says that its culture of see something, say something is working. Alongside that mantra, an increased use of metal detectors and reviving the clear backpack idea were among the issues that were discussed in the board meeting. But Parkland victim Debbie Hickson says she is not sure they're worth investing in.
A metal detector and clear backpacks were not going to change what happened that day. It was people. Making sure the gates were locked, making sure they were following through. I would prefer to spend our money on people.
The superintendent followed up by saying the single best thing that parents can do is prevent their child from taking something from their home into the school.
A new lawsuit is challenging the state's termination of Medicaid benefits to residents. This was filed by 2 consumer advocacy groups in a Florida federal court on behalf of a 25-year-old woman and her 2-year-old daughter with cystic fibrosis and a 1-year-old girl. Advocates want to require the state to stop terminating enrollees until the involved agencies provide adequate notice and an opportunity for a pre-termination fair hearing.
There's been another case of malaria in the U.S., this time in Maryland. The patient who tested positive was briefly hospitalized and is now home recovering. 8 other cases of malaria have been reported this summer, some of them here in Florida and Sarasota County. But the CDC maintains that the overall risk of catching malaria is low.
The risk remains very low for not just individuals in Florida, Sarasota County, but throughout the entire United States. The risk is very low.
Officials encourage people to use insect repellent with DEET, wear loose-fitting long-sleeve shirts and pants when outdoors, and use screens on windows and doors.
In New York, a bear attacked a 7-year-old boy who was simply playing in his backyard. Police arrived on scene and shot and killed that bear. It took 4 officers to carry that bear away. Now the bear will be tested for rabies because of its aggressive behavior.
Our concern was he did not retreat. So at one point he did advance. And when you have that many human beings, I would think that an animal of that kind would normally retreat, and it did not.
The boy was taken to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. Officials say if you encounter a bear, you should back away slowly, raise your arms while yelling to scare the bear away.
When a man shared pictures of himself holding a dolphin out of the water, he may not have known the backlash that he would face. As Ann Maxwell reports, not only are some people outraged, but it's against the law. If prosecuted, violators of the Marine Mammal Protection Act could face civil penalties up to about $34,000 or criminal fines and up to a year in prison.
Publix is reminding you to leave your pets at home when you head to the supermarket. The chain is posting these signs at nearly 1,400 stores. They cite federal law indicating only service animals are allowed indoors. Publix says those animals cannot ride in shopping carts or wheelchair baskets. Emotional support animals also banned. Customers who bring them inside will be escorted out of the store.
Next at 10, space tourism is taking another leap.
If rockets aren't your speed, you can soon float to the edge of space. Details on the space balloons being made right now.
Download the free WESH 2 News app today.
A softer, gentler way for space tourists to take the flight up. not on rockets, but big space balloons.
And the first place to take the flight on one will be here. I cannot read that sentence.
Central Florida.
It's going to be here in Central Florida. Scott Heiler is going to tell you about this latest movement in space tourism.
More than 8,500 daily heat records have been broken across the U.S. in the last 30 days, according to NOAA. They expect at least 445 more daily heat records to be broken just this week. More than 100 million people, that's exhausting to say, are under heat alerts from the Gulf Coast to the Midwest and eastward into the Ohio Valley.
It is exhausting, Tony, in that heat out there. The humidity, you know, makes it worse.
I know, I hear it from you guys, I hear it from my wife, I hear it from a lot of people, but I don't control the weather.
All the viewers?
You can't take credit on great days.
You're the guy, Tony. Who else are we going to complain to?
Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, get you through it, that's all right. I drive. There's what's going on right now tonight. Oh, beautiful night there. It's not bad outside either. We do have a bit of a breeze, not as brisk as earlier. A little trough of low pressure up to the north. We take a look now at the live radar. Things are pretty quiet. Temperatures along the coast here in the upper 70s, low 80s, back through the interior, low 80s as well. The air tonight, a little bit soupier along the coast. You work your way inland, it is a little bit better. Dew points north and west in the low 70s. That's why the temperatures here tomorrow morning will be a few degrees cooler than over here along the coast, where we'll be in the mid to the upper 70s, if not even the 80-degree mark there in coastal Brevard County. Daytona Beach, you're jumping up quickly to near 90, 91 maybe. Come early afternoon tomorrow with that onshore breeze getting going and the showers arriving late in the day with this northeasterly flow in that front that's going to be backing on in. We'll get pockets there of some fast-moving showers from time to time. Nothing too significant. In fact, the models have barely showing a quarter to a half an inch of rain in some of those heavier bands. We take a look at those temperatures now. Tomorrow afternoon, upper 80s to around the 90-degree mark. Then, as we pull you away from the coast and farther inland, notice the temperatures jumping up to about 93, 96 degrees. Little midweek golf, are you? Well, you're going to be in good shape. Temperatures warming up fairly quickly for those morning rounds by the time we get to the afternoon. Maybe a spotty shower. Temperature coming in at about 94 degrees. Now, the attractions tomorrow, also looking good. Afternoon high temperatures peaking in the low 90s. We take a look now at that forecast here as we head into Thursday and Friday. A few fast-moving showers with that east-to-east northeasterly wind flow. A little bit drier there, though, on Friday, but we turn a little bit hotter as we head through the upcoming weekend. Saturday on into Sunday, front kind of tries to back on in a little bit up along Interstate 10. Breeze works in. Most of the showers there are going to be along the coast by late afternoon, so it's going to be awfully hot and pretty dry. Saturday's temperature 96, Sunday's temperature coming in at about 97 degrees. All right, back to the tropics. A lot to watch, but the good news is nothing is headed our way. The next named storm, by the way, is Idalia, and then Jose, then Katia, Lee, Margot, and Nigel. We take a look at the hurricane season by the numbers. We are right here. We're climbing that peak there on the way to September the 10th. Once we get past that peak, it's all downhill. Let's take a look now at your updated 7-day forecast for Wednesday. Coming in at about 94 degrees. There's a look at Thursday. 91, a little bit cooler, at least briefly behind that front. As we work our way on into Friday, a temperature of 93 degrees. Overnight low temperature then right around 76 degrees. Then we head into the weekend. Then early next week, rain chances begin to go back up. The big story, though, of the weekend is the heat. Afternoon high temperatures, 96, 97. We get you into Monday and Tuesday. More rain, a little bit cooler because of the cloud showers and storms. Kristen is next with a look at sports.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Kristen Lago. We are just days away from Saturday's NASCAR race, and it's not just any race. It is the Coke Zero Sugar 400, the final race of the NASCAR regular season. And remember, you can catch that game on WESH 2, and then the race will be on CW18. So a very big weekend in sports.
If you get Baker first or second year from Cleveland, Tampa's got something there.
There you go.
Just got to stay healthy.
I think we all kind of knew it was going to be Baker. We're just waiting on this announcement. So I think the team feels confident with him. He has that swagger, too, which I like.
There you go.
Do we have time? Should I allow me to?
Do it.
The Mets didn't do so great tonight, Tony.
But we killed them last night.
Okay, doesn't count.
We crushed them last night.
Hakuna Matata.
Serious.
It's a wonderful phrase.
Tomorrow's a rubber match.
Okay, how's it going to do for you, Tom?
We'll find out tomorrow. Hey, let's go to the Coke Zero there.
He's just going to
get a big race going. We crushed you guys yesterday, and I wasn't here for that.
I know.
You weren't here, Tony.
For you, Tony.
All right, anyway, back to the Coke Zero big race there.
The Braves won.
It's going to be breezy. It's going to be pretty good out there. Not bad. Can't wait till tomorrow. Game 3, Stu.
You can't wait till
Simmer
tomorrow.
down, young man. Simmer down.
Today is right now.
Okay, guys.
Remember, Wake Up with WESH, our Sunrise Crew. You started it. Our Sunrise Crew starts at 4:30 a.m. with overnight news, first warning weather, and of course traffic. Jim is judging us from the corner over there. We're staying on top of all of our big stories tonight.
I can hear his eye roll.
He doesn't care. He's like, go away.
Flip over to WESH 2 for local live late breaking news at 11. We'll see you tomorrow.